Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Preston here, and this is another quick post-fight reaction to Regis Prograis versus Danielito Zorrilla. This was like it was a close fight, but it was kind of a weird fight because it wasn't really that action packed. Honestly, I really didn't expect this fight to be. Well, I expected Regis to do a lot better in my opinion, but you know, good. But Zorrilla is a tough fighter. He is like one of those like tougher like gatekeepers for the prospects and stuff like that. And the thing is, Regis Prograis, like he was struggling against it because the dude had very quick footwork. Regis, the thing is in the fight, and I am gonna be saying this a little like during the video also, is that Regis, he doesn't really know how to properly cut off the ring. And against a guy like Zorrilla, it proved that because I look at Regis Prograis as a very, very, very good fighter. And the thing is, I would like to see more improvements with that because the thing is, he would struggle against fighters like Subriel Matias or Teofimo Lopez because he doesn't know how to properly like control the fights and make fights his own fight. He was kind of fighting Zorrilla's own fight, and that's what kind of made it what the fight was, in my opinion. I still had Prograis winning overall, but I mean, like, it was really Prograis' fight because he dropped Zorrilla in the third round. Because like the whole fight was pretty boring, and the thing is, you could have arguably gave the fight to Zorrilla if it wasn't for the drop, you know. But I mean, Regis was throwing big punches. But anyways, let's start off with the first round. Progress won the round because at the end, both Zorrilla and Progress started landing big shots, but Regis got the better of the exchange in my opinion. Because in that first round, they really didn't do anything. It was more kind of a feeling each other out type of round. At the end, Regis started landing big shots, but then Zorrilla started landing shots. But the bigger shots came from Prograis. Round two didn't show for the sake of the viewers at the time, like not at the time, but didn't show the sake like the video because of the sake of the viewers. Because round two wasn't shown because there was really none that went on, so they didn't want the viewers to like watch something that isn't really that interesting. The third round though was actually interesting because Regis Prograis dropped Zorrilla, but Zorrilla did do good avoiding any more contact from Regis Prograis by moving around. And when Regis put Zorrilla on the ropes, Zorrilla had really good defense. And then, but Prograis won the round though, mainly just because he dropped Zorrilla, in my opinion. And my thoughts on the fight, because they didn't, because they kind of skipped, because I watched the fight, but I didn't round the fight, at all, like when I was watching it. So I had to kind of watch it through the highlights, and it only really showed round one, two, and three, and then it skipped like three more rounds, and then went to round seven, and at that point I couldn't really properly like, you know, score the fight without like giving Prograis, all the other rounds, because the whole highlights I guarantee you would have just been Prograis winning the fight, but then they didn't want to show like the middle of the rounds, you know. But Regis needs to get better at cutting off the ring because it showed again in this fight against Zorrilla because Zorrilla got quick footwork. Regis is very talented and has a lot of power and potential. And that leads to what's next for Regis Prograis. What's next for Regis, in my opinion? I feel like Regis needs to be more active and have a tune-up fight, like fighting a guy like Sandor Martin, because Sandor got good footwork and smooth punching, and I feel like that would give Regis trouble, but make Regis learn. Sandor has notable fights against Mikey Garcia and beat Mikey and retired Mikey Garcia. Sandor also had a good fight against Teofimo Lopez and arguably won that fight against Teofimo Lopez. Another fight for Regis Prograis is Sergey Lipinets. I think that would be a very fantastic fight and a very, very good um like it's definitely a good test for Regis because Sergey has very good pressuring skills and what the fuck does that? It has skills and tons of experience. Because the thing is, he has good pressuring skills, and he has a lot more experience than Regis Prograis. Because yeah, Prograis been around for a long time, but I feel like Sergey has been fighting much more better fighters. Because the thing is, because Sergey Lipinets, because he fought prime Mikey Garcia, beat Lamont Peterson, even though Lamont was old, and also fought Jerron Boots Ennis, and we all know who Jerron Boots Ennis is, So Lipinets got experience, just like I said, and I feel like for Regis that would teach him a lot, also because Lipinets knows how to deal with fighters like Regis, because because if you look at the fights, Lipinets has fought a lot more people, and like for crying out loud, he fought Jerron Boots Ennis. So he knows how to fight people who got power, you know. But the thing is though, because Lipinets knows how to fight, fighters like Regis, just like I said. But for Regis, it's an easier face to hit, so he can get more confidence and get better at his fighting skills. Fighting Lipinets would also eye bigger fights for Regis because when you beat Lipinets, it means you're ready to beat the top prospects. Now let's get to Danielito Zorrilla. Danielito Zorrilla did good with avoiding fighting Regis Prograis. He did really good at avoiding fighting Regis Prograis' type of fight. And Danielito needs to fight people next. Like Jose Petraza. Because I feel like Zorrilla will give Petraza trouble with his footwork. Because Petraza only does good at getting people up to the fence so he can throw his combos. But Zorrilla would have too good a footwork to worry about that, in my personal opinion. Zorrilla would also frustrate Petraza and could actually, in my opinion, win by catching Petraza in the inside because Petraza doesn't got really any power or countering skills. He more just got really good combos. Another fighter is Kenneth Sims Jr. Because Sims is a good boxer, but also has good output with his punching. That would also be a good fight for Zorrilla because then Zorrilla would force Sims to show his actual boxing abilities. Because it's very hard to stop the movement of Zorrilla. Because besides, tiring Zorrilla out. But I feel like Zorrilla got better than his last fight against Barboza. Because I feel like ever since that fight, I feel like he's been running a lot more rounds in my opinion. So overall, I feel like, it would be a good test for Sims because Sims at the point at his career where he needs to fight better prospects. So, because I like Sims. Sims is a good fighter. And I feel like Sims versus Zorrilla would be a pretty good fight in my opinion. But I feel like no matter what, if you're fighting against Zorrilla, you're gonna have to be the forward fighter. But the thing is, I feel like Sims wouldn't do that good at cutting off the. I mean, well, he would do good, but I feel like you need to be really, really good to cut off neutralize Zorrilla's ability of moving around. In my opinion. But anyways, that's my final thoughts. Regis Prograis beats Zorrilla by a split decision. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm Preston, and peace out.